It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
I'm excited to record the podcast every time I record a podcast. I'm excited. Sometimes I'm nervous because I don't feel like I have stuff to talk about. Sometimes I'm overconfident because I feel like I have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I don't. If you're watching on YouTube today, you can see my dog Jovi, the junior producer of the podcast, is here today. Today, I'm excited, and I feel like there's some stuff to talk about. I had a really busy weekend. We're going to get into this weekend. Kelly's What Are You Into? I'm emotional. I had a real good cry. I'm going to adjust my camera real quick. I should have done this before I started recording. Doesn't matter to you audio people. I had a really good cry this weekend. We're going to talk about that. But my weekend was jam-packed. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to get into it. Some observations from that. An event I went to today that I never thought I'd find myself at. We'll get into that. But we kick the podcast off before we're going to get into a guest. We're going to get into a guest in a second. Kick the podcast off as we always do. Thank you to the Patreons of the Sean Widmer Podcast. Thank you so much. Patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast. You are the reason why I'm able to keep the podcast going, able to keep my website going and all that stuff. Thank you. The stuff that hosts the audio where the audio exists, it's all because of you guys. So thank you for that. You can check out the stuff over there, patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast. Random stuff goes up for people who are Patreon members. Thank you again for making it happen. We've got no 3-star reviews on iTunes to read today. So we just get to give a shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to me having to stand up right now, let my dog out of this room, even though I told her to leave, but I had popcorn in here earlier. She wanted it so bad. So when you audio listeners hear me go silent, this is me letting my dog out of the recording room. Come on, Joe. Go ahead. There you go. Congratulations. Congratulations. She did it. She made it. All right, so there you go. Shout out to Jovi, junior producer for a second. We need to do it. Let's make a phone call. I'm calling my buddy Miles. Miles Pathcast. You need to be listening to this podcast. I've wanted to have him on the show for a while. Let me turn that down for a second so it's not blaring.
Hey, man. How we doing?
Miles, you're on the podcast. Hi.
Hi. I love that you have your contact poster up. I wish more people did that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love it. I think it looks cool. I think when people call and your contact poster is working, I think on an iPhone it looks so awesome when someone calls you.
Looks so cool. More people need to do that.
I will tell you, I am way more likely to answer a phone call if someone has a contact picture up.
Exactly. And yours is awesome. Like you jump in, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm a little kid. It's like a little 5-year-old me, or 5th grade me, doing long jump. I probably jumped about 3 feet. But I'm really looking like I'm getting after it. Okay, Miles, I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you're in dad mode tonight. Okay. First and foremost, I am in love with your podcast, the Miles Pathcast. Everyone needs to be listening to it. Dude, I love it. Miles, every week I look forward to it. It brings joy to my life every single week when you post something.
That was the goal. That's the years does that for me, and I wanted to kind of create something similar to that. So we've done it. We've come full circle.
Okay, how has the journey been? How's the podcast journey? Now you're 2 months in. How has it been?
It's been great. I feel like if nothing else, it's finally coming together and it's kind of taken this long. Because I wanted kind of like segments that you, like kind of your Kelly, What Are You Into? I wanted segments like that, and I feel like there's finally a couple coming together. So I feel like we're getting better with age. We're like a fine wine. Okay.
Yeah. I do like the segments. I like that you have your daughter at the very end. I like that you've added the Sean's What Are You Into, which is great. And I like the I Owe You one. I feel like you've got great stuff every episode. Are you finding that it's easy or hard to find stuff to talk about?
It depends on the week. There are some weeks where it's a lot easier than others, and there's some where it's like, holy cow, what are we gonna kill some time with?
Dude, it's crazy. There are some weeks where, you'll have a million things. This week was one of them for you where you had a million things. And then, sometimes you're like, what are we doing? What are we doing this week? But you've pulled it off every week. This week, though, everyone needs to listen to the Miles Pathcast because your story on this week's episode is phenomenal, especially to someone like me who observes farming from a distance, appreciates everything you guys do for us. And by you guys, I mean your dad and Garrett and your brother and your dad. I was blown away because you had a fire happen during harvest. And to me, Miles, that is something that I am terrified of, because we, especially if you live in the Northwest, you see the results of fires, and they are crazy. So the fact that you guys just took care of it's wild.
It was, I mean, yeah, it's, I can relate to you. Like, we've been evacuated from our house twice now in the last 3 years, which probably made this even crazier. But yeah, I was thinking about it, especially when it's right there. It's like one of those experiences you have like 5 times in your life where you're so freaking scared, but you have, as cliche as it sounds, like no time to be scared. You just gotta react, and you gotta get some stuff done in a really short amount of time. And that, in this case, it was to stop a fire.
Do you guys prepare? Is it something you've prepared for as kids? Is this something that Dave has taught you guys, like, what to do, or is it just instinctual?
It felt very instinctual, and it was also really lucky in this case, because the field we were at was really close to like a farm where like one of the Paffs live, and they've thought ahead, and there was a plow and a tractor hooked up for the exact instance, and a water truck right there. So, I mean, in 50% of the other field, 75%, generally we're not that close.
Yeah.
So it was really, really, well, lucky might be the wrong word for the fact it's a fire, but
yeah,
we were ready for it.
Well, I don't want to spoil too much of it. I didn't want to tell the story here. I just wanted to let you know the story is an amazing story for anyone who's interested in when you hear about a wildfire or a fire, and especially if you're in Eastern Washington and you hear about the fires that happen in the fields. Miles covers it, talks about how it happens, like what's going on. It's an amazing story, one that I think people should listen to. I think it was extremely educational for me. I really enjoyed it, man. I really liked it. And I just wanted to say thank you for sharing it on your podcast, because it was such a unique perspective on something we just see on the news, and the news doesn't cover it like that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's one of those things where it's like you never want to be a part of it, but you just got to go into it and go. And I'm glad it worked out the way that it did.
Yeah, for sure. Please tell your dad, you know, I'm proud of his boys getting the work done, and the other people, right? He trained you guys good. Dave did it right. He's got a squad underneath him that learned from the best, and I am thankful, because that's part of it, right? I mean, you saw the best do it in your family, and it brings it to you guys to know what to do when the craziness happens. So I was pumped. Okay, Miles, let's move on from that. Everyone go listen to the Miles Pathcast. You need to hear the story. Miles, I love you for a lot of reasons, but you are a movie guy like me who loves to go to a movie. You talked about it on your podcast. Yeah. You and I are both people who can go to a movie theater by ourselves and have one heck of a great time.
It's the best.
Give me some movies in the last maybe 3 or 4 months that maybe longer, because I don't know how many you're going to now as a dad. Give me some movies people need to check out.
Well, since having Gabby, who's in my arms and is now 4 months old, you really got to prioritize.
Yeah.
And the movies I've gone to most recently, it's like when Marvel movies come out, that's where I'm at. Marvel, Star Wars. I saw Avatar like just over a year ago now.
Was Avatar good?
That's kind of where we're at, prioritizing that. Yeah, loved Avatar.
So Avatar's worth me watching on TV.
Yeah, when I bought the Apple Vision Pro and then took it back after 2 weeks, that's when the movies I watched like in 3D, and that was rad.
Okay. So I need to do that. I need to go buy an Apple Vision Pro, watch Avatar, and then return it.
Yeah, they're so expensive. The most recent movie I watched, though, was Deadpool and Wolverine, and that was fantastic.
Okay, I need to watch it. Miles, I did the dumb thing where I read 2 internet reviews that were negative, and I was totally convinced that this is how the internet works, right? I saw 2 negative headlines. Yeah. They baited me. The only reason they did bad reviews is because they wanted people like me to click the article. I did it, and then I didn't go see the movie because of 2 guys, and everyone in my life who I actually like is like, dude, the movie rules. Go see it. So I want to go see it. Is there a movie coming out you are excited about? You're like you have 2 girls. You have no time. You have no time to know what's coming out.
No, I wish Emmy's older, because I would love to go see Inside Out too, but we're just not even close to there yet. She's like the same age as Huck, so we're not there.
No chance. Don't do it.
I mean, I guess my mind goes to like the next Marvel movie, which I guess would be Captain America in February.
Yeah.
But other than that, to wait.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Before you go, last thing for you. You have girls. I have a girl. We are girl dads. Have you listened to any of the new Post Malone music yet?
Yes, the one song that Garrett sent me actually months ago on Instagram, that was a small clip of it. That was the first one I listened to.
Okay, is it the one called Yours? Is it the one called Yours? About his daughter? Miles, it's going to be my Kelly's What Are You Into? If you haven't listened to it since Garrett sent it to you, I want you're holding your daughter right now, right? You're holding one of the girls?
Yeah.
Go listen to it on some headphones. and hold your daughter, and then you're welcome for the amount of Kleenex, the amount of Kleenex you will need. It's crazy. Okay, brother, I appreciate you. Miles Pathcast, it's a must listen to every week you put an episode out. I'm glad you're enjoying doing it. Thank you for doing it. It's awesome, man.
I love you. Thanks for being the inspiration.
You're the best.
Thanks
Take
for doing
it easy.
what you do.
Tell your family hello.
Will do. Have a good night. Take care.
Later, Miles. Hey, we're gonna get into Kelly's "What Are You Into" in a second. I needed that man. That man is emotional like me. Maybe not as emotional as me. He's emotional, but I'm just overly emotional. We're going to talk about that. Can we get into this weekend? Oh, man. What a weekend it was. Jam-packed weekend. Let's run it down. Let's talk about some things. I had an interesting thing today in the dad world. I had a husband thing on Saturday night we have to talk about. On Friday night, it's just been really nice to have Mike in town. Mike and his girlfriend are in town, and Mike starts his job tomorrow, so I'm probably going to see him a little less, which I'm not excited about because he's working early and he's going to realize real quick you can't stay up late. I'm going to expect him to come give me a little bit of a pat on the back and say, wow, I really made you stay up late a lot of nights when you had to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for him to come over and say, thank you for doing that. Thank you for staying up and playing Fortnite with us at an ungodly hour because it's the only time we played. And you had to wake up the next morning at 5 and Mike was waking up at noon. Anyways, they came over Friday night. We played games until like 1:20, 1:30. It was so fun. So fun. We actually played games Thursday night and then Friday night, both nights until past 1 o'clock. So that's been really fun to get the games on the table. Loving that. Had a great time. Saturday was a busy one. Saturday we had a birthday party, kid's birthday party, and we did a thing where my sister-in-law, my Patrick and Kara, they had the birthday party at this sports complex that's just a big, huge open field, okay? Oh, hang on. I think I might have lost camera. Hang on. Okay, YouTube, I lost camera. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry about that. You're not getting camera the rest of the way through. Okay, where was I? The birthday party. It was at this big open field inside of a warehouse. So it's a big barn, and they put like a turf inside of it. Oh, I think we might be back on video. Sorry, this is what happens with the YouTube, right? The YouTube takes listeners are like, we hate the YouTube. The YouTube takes my attention. Birthday party, and I don't edit the podcast. You just get it as it is. Like pros would edit out all of this, and you wouldn't get it, but you get the real stuff here on the Sean Widmer podcast. Big open field, tons of boys. Drew's young. We've got all the kids there. You know, it's the dream birthday party for young kids who are into sports. They roll out footballs, soccer balls, and a bunch of wiffle balls with wiffle ball bats and a kickball. And it was the sweatiest birthday party I've ever been at. It was wonderful. All the kids are having a great time. You got 30 kids versus 30 kids in a game of wiffle ball. It doesn't get better than that. I was trying to sneak in and play a little bit, but all the kids are like, you're just blocking us. So I ended up being first base umpire. Tons of fun. My son hucks a little bit. My oldest son is a little too young to be doing any of this. He's 2 years old. He's just running. My daughter's just running around somewhere with her cousin. They're in the world of imagination. They've turned this big tire over. They say it's a hot tub. They've built a house. They've got this whole thing going. It's great. Such a fun birthday party. Great to see boys being boys. My son, when the birthday party was done, I went to wrangle him. His hair was so stuck to his face. His shirt is sopping wet with sweat. And he has, because that turf has, like, it's dirty and he's fallen a lot. His face looks like he put it into a puddle of mud, not the band, just an actual puddle of mud, and just left that like war paint. It was insane when I finally caught up to him. I was like, where have you been? What have you done? And he's just grinning ear to ear. He has had such a fun time. Now, he hit the wall. As it happens when you've just gone all out for a couple hours and it's late. But it was just great to see, you know, you want your kids to have fun and playing, and to give my daughter and my son a bath. And the second they hit that water, it was instantly brown, so much so I drained it and refilled it because it was so dirty instantly. But there's something very nice about that as a dad, to know your kids just had such a big time. They were active. Oh, I loved it so much. So the birthday party was great. My wife and I get the kids to bed, And thank you, Lisa. Thank you to my mother-in-law. She came over and made this night possible for us. I needed it. My wife needed it. We needed it together. It was very fun. We got to go out of the house late, after 9 o'clock, to Anna's buddy Kyle, the night before his wedding, hang with friends who are in town, family. Just kind of probably after their rehearsal dinner, after the rehearsal stuff, they just went to a place and they had a bunch of people. It was so awesome to get to see people, but that's not how the story starts. So we get ready to leave. Everyone gets dressed up. We had a great time sneaking out of the house, right? We were excited. And Anna goes, okay, I'm going to put the directions in. Let's just start driving. And she's telling me about where we're going. And we're going to this place called the Paddock here in Lexington. And I was like, okay, this will be interesting. Now, the guy whose wedding we were going, one of Anna's best friends, his brother opened this bar on campus at UK in Lexington. And it is, if you are from Spokane, it would be like Baracho's. All right, so if you're from here, it's like the Paddock, because that's what it's called. But it's kind of the bar for going out here in Lexington. And Anna's regaling the tales of her being in college, and she went there a ton with her friend Tristan. It was the place to go. And it's just always been the place to go. So I'm like, okay. So we get down there. It is kids everywhere. It's the first week back to school for UK. They're not in class, but it's move-in week. So there's kids everywhere. We finally find a parking spot. We start walking, and we get there, and there's going to be this big party with his family and friends, and there's a line to get in. And it is the least amount of clothing I have seen on someone who is over 4 years old in a very long time. I mean, it is... It's not. I was hit that. I'm 42 now, so I hit that age where I'm like, young lady, young man, you need to put some clothes on. You need to put some clothes on. Are you kidding me? Like I'm there now. So we're in this line. I'm looking around. Anna's looking around. She's like, this is wild. So we go in, and it is the most aging feeling ever. The guys in the front are mandated to take your ID. They took my ID. They didn't even look at it. He just took it, so that he could say he held it. He handed it right back to me, and he looked at me, and the look he gave me was, I don't know where your kid is in here, but don't make a scene. Because that's had to be what they were thinking. Here comes a dad on move-in week who told his kid not to come out to party, and now he's going to go get him and rip him out of this bar. And so we walk in, and it is so awkward. But also, Anna and I were both like, look, these kids don't know if they want it, if they want to see it go down, Mom and Dad Widmer can go do it with the best of them. Like, hey, kids up there at the bar who think you're all tough, you're like, oh, we're gonna get our one little drink. Like, you want to see the champs? You want to see the pros? The pros just walked in, and we can go. Mom and Dad can still go, and we can still hang. And so we're walking around. We're just like, this used to be our life. This used to be. We were in this world, and we loved it. And the kids, it's kind of fun because you get to see all these kids who are having so much fun. And like Anna and I were saying, there's going to be a point in 10, 15 years, they're going to look back on it and be like, holy cow, do you remember when we would go out and our nights would start at 10 o'clock and then we would be out till 2? Can you remember those nights? It was every night on the weekend. And it's just funny to see them in that moment, knowing that's how that's going to advance and just being like, this is such a fun, I hope they're having fun. This is such a fun time in life. Well, we're walking around there, and finally Anna goes, this is weird. I don't see anyone that I know. And I'm like, yeah, I don't either. I mean, I don't see anyone who's over the age of 23 in here. Finally, she looks down at her phone and goes, we're at the wrong place. No joke. So we ended up going out. We ended up clubbing with the kids for about 15 minutes on a Saturday night after 9 o'clock, feeling very youthful. I hobbled out of the club. Everyone cheered when we left. They were like, finally, the narcs left. Thank goodness. And we went off to this really awesome setup that Kyle's brother owns, this other place too that's like a nice membership bourbon bar. It's so cool. It was so awesome. And we just had a great night. Got to catch up with Anna's friends, hear some great stories about them growing up. It was just really fun to be out with my wife, be out with her friends. And it was just a blast. We had an absolute blast. We didn't get home. Again, Lisa, thank you. We didn't get home till well after midnight. It might have been close to 1. And she was just hanging, watching Netflix. She also logged into Netflix here, which was great. So we get to steal her Netflix until they catch us that we're not her house. So that was wonderful. I got to watch Mario today. But it was a great night. So that was very fun. And so it's been a busy weekend, but it wasn't done yet. Because today, I had told Olivia, who loves herself some YouTube, she likes Ryan's World like all the kids do. and I didn't realize there was going to be a Ryan's World movie coming out to theaters. We had seen a commercial for Ryan's World, the movie. I said, we'll watch it when it comes out. I assumed it was just going to be on YouTube or on Amazon or Netflix or something, right? And then it was in theaters. So I'm like, okay, I told her, we'll go. I told you we'd go. We're going to go opening weekend. So we went today. We went to the Ryan's World movie, which ended up being pretty much Ryan and his, like maybe his dad creating a anime. They want to make like a kid's anime. And I know they've done this with his show. And Olivia, doesn't really watch when they do this, but they have a cartoon version of Ryan where he's like a superhero. And it was pretty much that the whole movie. It actually wasn't terrible. It really wasn't for a kids movie. I've seen way worse kids movies. I'll tell you that. I've seen way worse kids movies. But it was a moment where I think as a parent, you have moments in life. You go to school and you go to a bunch of school functions and you see parents at these functions, right? We see Josh, we see Whitney at Olivia's class things, and they're in our group, right? They're in our group. We talk to them. We feel this bond. You're in this circle with parents who are in your kids' class. Sports, I see this a lot with sports. You become friends with the parents in the sports world that your teams are in. You have this bond, right? You're bonding over this. And those bonds are important, right? I don't think they rival the one that I had today. Where you walk into a theater, I expected it to be Olivia and me. And there was 3 other families there. And each one of us parents looked the other one in the eye and we were like, we did it. We did it. Hey, congratulations, parents who are taking your kid to school and going to school activities, going to a field trip together. Congratulations. Ooh, congratulations, parents who have your kids in sports and you're going to sporting events. Congratulations. Ooh, what a struggle it must be to be outside enjoying sports. We are here in the trenches with our kids. They like Ryan's World, all right? This isn't a baseball game. This isn't a basketball game. This isn't a field trip to the candy store. We're at Ryan's World, the movie. There's no way the next hour and a half is going to be good for us, but it's going to be our kids' favorite, and we're here getting it done. So I made this really tight bond with these 4 people. Very great. Just a wonderful moment. Great parenting time. Thank you to them for being involved with this. It was great. Anyways, Ryan's World, saw it. There's my movie. I need a movie review jingle. I was going to tell Miles about that, but he doesn't need to go see it. What are we doing now? Something else. Sorry, my phone was dinging. That's why it cut off for YouTube. I'm looking to see what I missed. I missed a bunch of texts. We'll get to those. Basketball's back tomorrow night. I need it. Oh my goodness, I need it. I need my weekly basketball. It's back tomorrow night. My favorite thing in the world. Although I will say, man, let's just do real talk Sean Widmer stuff. Basketball is and always will be my favorite thing in the world. I adore it. I can't get enough of it. Today, my daughter wanted to shoot baskets in the basement, and it was such a highlight in my life. Not in my day, not in my month, in my life. Shooting Nerf baskets with my daughter, with my kids, that to me is everything. It's my favorite people doing my favorite things. So I love hoops. I'm excited that it's back. I love sports so much. I'm ready for football to get back. I'm ready to dive into it. We talked about this. But I've been talking to my brother, like as I get older and I can't play sports all the time and I've got the kids, so I'm with the kids until their bedtime, so my activities don't start till later if I want to do stuff for me. I'm kind of transitioning what I like, and I'm transitioning the things I like to do. And I do like camaraderie. I like being with people. I do like doing things with people. So I really have, and I know it's annoying when I talk about it on the podcast, I really have dove all the way in to board games, card games, and tabletop role-playing games. That's like the thing I really like. And so I was telling my brother, I've got like this 2-year goal to, in 2 years, Woods will be 2, a manageable age, where late at night I want to have once a week run tabletop role-playing game here at my house in the basement. Make my basement cool, get a cool table, get a cool setup, and do that. And I've just been pouring into it. And it reminds me of when I was young with basketball, where when I was young with basketball, I couldn't get enough getting outside to play basketball. I think people have this with a lot of stuff when you get a new hobby and it's something that you know you're going to do for a very long time. I've had a lot of hobbies that I'm not going to do for a long time, and I pour into them, but not crazy. I love doing them, but I'm not like so all into it that it's all I can think about. But basketball for me for a long time, that was it. Like my mom and dad had to set very strict rules with me of you need to be home at this time for dinner, and you need to make sure you have your homework done and this and that. And then they didn't want me walking home in foreign third world country where Americans got kidnapped. Crazy, mom and dad. Why wouldn't they didn't want me walking home after like 9 o'clock? What? Worst parents ever. Wait, worst parents ever. You're trying to keep me safe. Wait, I'm whining about having to come home before 9 o'clock when at one point I got chased by a car with people yelling at me that they were going to throw me in it, and I had to run across this field, walking from Micah Huffman's house home and sprint to my house, terrified, wanting to wet my pants. And I still would tell my parents, why can't I be out past 9? Crazy. Stupid kids. I was so dumb. But yeah, I loved it, and I poured into it, and it was all I could think about. It's all I wanted to do, and I loved it. I'm there with tabletop role-playing games. I read about them nonstop. I'm talking about them with people nonstop. I've created a bunch of friends that I'm texting with nonstop, and it's now consumed my life. So I'm very much there. I try to keep it off the podcast because it is like Michael's not going to care about that. Michael goes loser, boom, loser. So I try to keep it off there, but I'm really invested in that. Can we do Kelly's What Are You Into?
Kelly's What Are You Into?
I apologize to Miles. I know right now as I look back on it that I do this every time I talk to someone, but I might have talked 90% of that time. I need to be better at that. I'm not. And I've done this for 20 years and I'm not better at it. That's frustrating. So Kelly's What Are You Into? Getting better. Need to do that. But also married gals, dads with girls, and then everybody else. But I do think those I'm going to single out some people here. I'm going to invite everyone, but if you are a dad of a daughter, if you are a girl who is married, you want to feel some emotions? Do you want to feel some emotions? Last night when Anna and I were driving to club with the 21-year-olds, right? We're going to go take some Jaeger bombs, drink some Jameson, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to drink, I said Jameson because that's what I would have when I was in my late 20s. I thought it was like a super cool drink to get Jameson. But we did some Jaeger bombs, some Red Bull vodkas, some Sweet Tea Firefly, whiskey, shots. What was before that? Rumpelmints, some Goldschlager shots. When we were on our way to do that, Anna goes, have you heard this song yet? I go, what is it? Well, Post Malone had a country album come out last week, and I'd heard some of the songs on it, and I really like Post Malone. So I had not spent time with it. She goes, he has a song about daughters. She goes, I haven't listened to it yet. Do you want to listen to it? I go, absolutely. Why did I say absolutely? Here I am driving down to club with the 21-year-olds, and Anna plays this song by Post Malone called Yours. And I am sobbing. I'm not crying in the car. I am driving, and I almost had to pull the car over. I am crying so hard in the front seat, to the point where Anna started with me on feeling emotional and then just started laughing because I couldn't stop. I was just like, and I'm emotional, right? So I understand if you go listen to it, John Dresbach, Andy, you guys have girls, you're tough guys. It's not going to affect you. You're going to be like, you're what a wimp. But if you have a little bit of emotion in you, oh man, it'll get you. It will get you. It's a song Post Malone writes for the guy who's going to marry his daughter. And it's good, man. Those guys can write songs. I don't know who wrote it. I imagine Post Malone had his hands in it, writing, because he's a good writer. But what a unique angle. Like, I'm sure it's been done by someone else, but I just haven't heard it, and this one's really good. The angle of, look, man, I know I know she runs to you, but I saw her run first. You may think all this stuff, but she's not yours. She's still not yours, or however he words it, where it's like, this is my baby girl. I loved her first. I will love her forever. You will love her forever. I loved her first. She is not yours. Like, you may think she's yours, but I loved her first, or something like that. It's so good. It's so good. Post Malone, Yours. Oh, man. It will kick you right in the butt. Who do I need to give? No, that was a different song. Roberta, I need to give her credit. Walker Hayes, country music artist, wrote a song about kids baseball, that journey through the young years, which I see now here in the East. I see how much baseball consumes the world here, and it's all that families do during summer and spring, and it's a song about that, hey, son, I get it. Baseball is everything for us. You're more than a baseball player to me. And it's a really good song, but it also has the feelings of like we missed a lot of family stuff, but we did baseball together, and we're gonna love that forever. We're gonna have memories forever. It's a really good song also. Roberta showed me that one. Okay, let's read some comments. Let's get out of here. I think I've talked even less now than I talked when Miles was on. Much love from Ian. Here we go. Sean'sLife.com is where you can get your comments in. Sean'sLife.com. For Amazon, I don't pre-read the comments either, so bear with me because sometimes I just can't read. For Amazon, neither. But gun to my head, this is for our great game that we started. Old or idiot. Old or idiot. For Amazon, the Amazon purchase that got sent to Whole Foods, neither, but gun to my head, idiot. Brandon also sent me a text that said idiot. Ian says, reason being is you could have told Anna you were using the gift card. Yeah, I should have. Well, I could have. I just know that if I told her I was using the gift card, she would have motivated me to get something for the baby. And I have a really hard time saying no to that. She would have said, we have $100 on Amazon. You're going to spend it on something dumb for your TTRPG habit. You're going to buy some tabletop role-playing game book or dice or something. Like, our baby doesn't have clothes. And I'm going to be like, oh, he can wear the character sheets. Ian went on to say, still can, and I know she'd buy what you refuse given the situation. Fair. Okay, for the eBay situation, old or idiot, neither as well. Biggest reason being everyone always forgets to change something when they move. It's not an if, but a what. Fair. Ian, so fair. When you move, there's so many things you have to change. And I don't use eBay, but the eBay address this was going to send to was forever ago. So I've had a lot of time. My vacation to California is going on. My vacation to California was awesome. Got to go on base and watch the SpaceX launch. Sent pics on Discord. They were sick. They were super sick. Whooped my family's butt on Trivia 21. My mom said, and I quote, I remember why I stopped playing trivia against you. Ian, that is awesome. Thank you for playing Trivia 21. I hope people are liking that. I think Curdy's already done with it. She streamed the first couple episodes of trivia, and then she was like, this is stupid. I hate it. So she's out. But for those of you who are into the trivia still, thank you. Tell a friend. Play it with someone at work. It's for Patreon members over at patreon.com/Sean Widmer podcast. I enjoy doing it. I'm hoping other people like it as well. On YouTube, Roberta said this. Hi, I see him. Woodsy, how you doing? He certainly weathered the podcast with no problem. And old or idiot. I vote idiot. Never put Amazon money where your wife might get an instant message saying, there's money, spend it. It's so fair. It's so fair. I love it. All right. Thank you to the folks who commented. Thank you to the folks who listened. Thank you to Miles for allowing me to call him and talk to him instead of letting him talk to us. Thank you.